everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm just doing a bit of a test setup here, so hopefully everything's okay and hopefully I'm coming through nice and clear. Hello Sam, hi Beverly, it is so nice to see you. Thank you so much for showing up today and for being here with me. That's just so lovely of you. Thank you. Hopefully everything's going okay and I'm coming through nice and clear, but by all means let me know if there's any issues. I can see my chat. Leah's here. Fantastic. Hi Leah, nice to see you. Linny's here as well. Oh, you're all lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. I've got my eye on the chat so I can actually see everybody this time, which is fantastic. Last time we had a couple of technical hiccups. Actually, last time I was doing a live stream for my members, I had a light fall on me, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen today. Oh, who else have we got here? Carly's here. Hi Carly, nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I just thought I don't really have an agenda or a schedule for today. I just thought it would be really nice to sit down with a nice hot cuppa. So I hope you've all got a nice hot cuppa or a cold drink if you're in a hot spot. And just sit down and crochet and chat together. I don't get to do that very often at all, even with friends who do crochet. Everyone's so busy, so by being able to set up a live stream like this with everybody, it's just lovely to be able to have a chat and just crochet something together. I think that's wonderful. T Murky, hi from Bethany Beach. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. Yarn Dog, hello, how you going? Oh, it's so good to see you. Just made my coffee and ready to settle in with you. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Carly, what time is it there? Here it's 1:06 p.m. in the afternoon on a Sunday. On a very cold, wet and drizzly Sunday where I am actually. It doesn't look very pleasant out there at all. And if Nikki is around, Nikki's another Ballaratian. So if she's here, she will tell you that she's probably sitting on her heater at the moment because it is very cold. It's 11:06 p.m. here in Florida. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Time differences, the way the world works and the way time works. It's just amazing, isn't it? Rockshaw, hello, nice to meet you. Thank you for being here today. Now, I hope everybody's nice and healthy and happy, and if you're not so healthy, hopefully you're still happy. If you're not so happy, hopefully you're healthy. Somewhere in between the two. I know we're having a lot of issues with it being winter here. There's lots of colds and flus going around. We've had a lot of health issues throughout the family, both myself and Mr. Yarniverse. So some days we're up, some days we're down, and that's just the way it is, I guess. So to be able to sit and have a nice chat with everybody. Costa, hello Mel, how are you today? Let's crochet. I'm Lisa. Hi Lisa, nice to meet you. Princess Leah, warm and sunny here in Newcastle, New South Wales. Went for a walk at the beach this morning. Oh, that sounds lovely. Oh, that would be lovely. Seems to be wet everywhere other than Metro Melbourne today. Wow, there you go. 5 a.m. here in Germany. Oh my goodness. Why aren't you sleeping? Please don't tell me you woke up early or that you haven't been to bed yet just for this. Also, if you did, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Hello from Washington State for Rhonda. Hi Rhonda, nice to see you. Leslie, hello from Colorado. Wow, everybody's here from everywhere, aren't they? 11 p.m. here in Virginia for Carol. Hi Carol, nice to see you. Listening to day late fireworks going off in my neighborhood. A little bit late, aren't they? Anna, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hi Mel, how are you? Watching from Australia, and it's cold. It definitely is. You're in Adelaide. Okay, well, interesting to hear that Adelaide's cold like we are down here in Ballarat. We are pretty cold at the moment. I'm normally under a heated blanket, or I've got my PJs on all through the day. I stay in my PJs all day mostly, so you're very welcome that I got dressed for the occasion today. Linny says sunny but cold here in Kerrang. Yeah, wow. That's a really interesting weather dynamic, isn't it? When you look out the window and it's nice and sunny and you think, oh, great, it's going to be a lovely day today. And then you walk outside and it's freezing and it's like, what happened? Where'd the sun go? That makes it a little bit difficult to get dressed and to work out what's happening. So I can absolutely understand that as well. Carol's saying hi from Florida. Hi Carol, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. So what I wanted to ask everybody, what are you working on? What is your current whip that you're working on today? I'd love to hear what everybody's doing today. Trish is saying hi from West Virginia. Hi Trish, thank you for being here today. Yeah, what's everybody working on? For me today, I thought I might just work up a nice quick bandana. They're nice and easy, and I just enjoy making them. They're a nice fun little project. So I'm going to pop that up on the screen up here, if it works. Hopefully you can see that. We worked on this quite late last night, so hopefully it's working. So this is just an easy crochet bandana that I'll be doing. It's not really a tutorial, it's just what I'll be working on while we're sitting here and chatting. So I'll just be crocheting away, hopefully with the rest of you. But if you are interested in making one of these, let me show you what they look like. I've got a couple here. I've got this one that I just finished the other day. This is with some new cotton from Bendigo Woolen Mills. This is their printed cotton, and it's in the colorway Unicorn. So it's got some lovely muted colors. There's a lot of yellow and green and some peachy sort of pink in through there, and some white, which I think works up really well. It's a lovely little muted colorway. And then I've also got this one here, which is the one I'll be making today. So this one is the Bendigo Woolen Mills printed cotton in the colorway Primula. And it kind of looks like ice cream, doesn't it? Like a raspberry swirl ice cream or a raspberry sorbet or something. It's just beautiful. So that's what I'll be making today. And if you're interested in the pattern, I do have it up on Ravelry, Buy Me a Coffee, and Etsy. And that's this way? No, this way. That's what that says up there. All right, what's everybody working on? It's working on a granny square border for a blanket for Leslie for her grandson. Oh, that sounds lovely. Jane, hi from sunny Ballarat. Not quite sunny today, Jane. Thank you for being here. Just started a laid back lace wrap pattern by Pretty Peaceful. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Leah saying I should be working on my temperature blanket, but I'm sewing a Japanese pentagon bag. That sounds really interesting. Ooh. Carol's working on some socks. You know, I started a pair of socks the other day and I got halfway through it before I realized they were way too big. And I kind of thought maybe I could just wear them as bed socks because it's so cold here. Just to have some socks over the top of my normal socks would be wonderful, but I think they might even be bigger than that. I think they might actually come off, so I'm probably going to have to go back and start them again in a smaller size. I don't think I can savor them or salvage them from where I'm at. Yarn Doc, Princess Blackthorn, oh, the chat's going off. I can't read it fast enough. Oh, Sam from By Hook or By Needles just gifted 10 memberships to people. Thank you so much, Sam. That's such a lovely thing to do. You are just so lovely. What a beautiful person. Thank you for that. That's amazing. And welcome all you lovely new members. We're glad to have you. Sam, you are lovely. That is just the most beautiful thing to do. Thank you so much. Also, for anybody in the chat that is a member, I hope you're enjoying being a member. I hope that there's enough content there for you to get engaged with and for you to feel like you're getting some value out of being a member. And for anybody else, you're more than welcome to join the memberships. For me, I keep them very low cost. I try to keep them down as much as possible because I know that it's a membership to a YouTube channel is quite a lovely thing to have, but it shouldn't cost you the world. You shouldn't be going without things to pay for it. So mine are very cheap. I think they're around $3 Australian, so that should break down to be quite cost effective for anybody else, but you're all more than welcome to join if you like. Working on the beanie, I put the yarn up on Facebook the other day. Thank you, Jane. Thank you. I do remember seeing that. It was actually lovely. Absolutely beautiful. Magic in the Forest. Hi, Mel. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. Jenny saying, so happy to see you live. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. That's really lovely of you. And Marie, hi from Toowoomba in Queensland. I'm knitting my mum a moonflowers shawl. Oh, that sounds beautiful. A shawl in Queensland. I'd like to know more about that. Does she also live in Queensland? I've often wondered about crafters that work in higher temperatures or high climates that can get quite warm? Are there particular projects that you kind of avoid, or different fibers that you steer clear of because of the temperature? Very curious. Coco, thanks Sam. Hi from France. Oh, that's lovely. Melissa McDonald, hi from Shepparton. We've got 15 degrees today, but it's freezing. Yeah, Melissa, I hear that. I can understand it would be really cold at 15 degrees, even though it sounds like it should be kind of a nice day. I can understand that too. Linny, going to have a try at your bunny for a new baby I've knitted a blanket for. Oh, you're going to make a stress less test. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, well, as I said, if you need any help at all, there's tutorials in the pattern. There's a tutorial on Facebook, on YouTube. So there'll be a link to that tutorial in the pattern if you need it. And you can also always contact me directly if you get stuck, and I'll give you as much help as I can. So good luck. I think it's going to look amazing. I can't wait to see it. You have to make sure you send me a pic of it so I can see what it looks like. And I'm sure your granddaughter will really love it. Trish, what is winter like in Australia? Well, in some areas we'll get snow. It has actually snowed here in Ballarat a couple of times. We've been up here for about 5 or 6 years now. My parents have been in the area for about 28 years. They've seen snow probably less than 10 times, I would say. Probably around 7 or 8 times. But that's within the whole 28 years that they've been here. Some areas stay pretty warm even through winter. So we've got at the top of the country where we're closer to the equator, they're quite warm up there. So the Northern Territory and Queensland stay quite warm, although even in winter the temperature does drop a little bit. We get a lot of storms too along the eastern side of the country. We get a lot of mini cyclones, and we get a lot of tropical storms. And on the western side they stay quite warm. They've got more of a warmer climate over there. There's not as much, we've got a lot of rainforests and a lot of mountain ranges and things like that in the southern and middle part of the country, whereas over on the other side they don't have quite as much there, so that warms up pretty quickly. So winter can be freezing, but it depends on where you're located. Because the country is so big and so vast, different areas will go through different temperatures. So a lot of people will actually move from one side of the country to the other when it gets too cold in their area. So that's a thing that can happen. But more often than not, most people here, particularly in the southern states, will know to rug up during winter. And Melbourne was pretty much, which is the capital centre of Victoria, which is the state that I'm in, they pretty much came up with the whole idea of layering your clothing, because it can literally be 4 seasons in one day. It can start off freezing, and then the sun comes out and you're boiling hot, and then it gets cloudy and you're cold again. It gets very windy, so then you take something else off and then you put something else on, and so it's one of those sorts of cities. Very interesting climate. What else does everybody have to say? Melissa McDonald, that's always a lovely surprise to find extra yarn. Oh, Sam, look at you. You're an absolute champion. Just chatting to everybody. Trish, always assumed they were always warm. Tina, Stamatia, hello. Lovely to see you. You're from the Gold Coast as well. So I was just talking about the temperature up there. Oh, wow. Melissa McDonald, I have family in Ballarat. Family in Caloundra were horrified that they were swimming in winter when they went up for a visit. Yeah. As cold as it can get here, people can be walking around in shorts and thongs, which is a bit weird, considering it can get so cold. Magic in the forest. Good idea, Sam. Plus we can push the heart button here in chat. Oh, you're all lovely. Thank you so much. Just the amount of people that have shown up today just to sit down and have a good old chin wag about crochet and yarn, making some lap blankets for local nursing home. Oh, good on you, Rhonda. That's a lovely thing to do. Lee's saying that it's clear but cold in Sydney today. You just had a fair amount of storms come through Sydney, haven't you? So you're probably looking forward to a nice nice, clear, happy day. Anne-Marie. Hi, Anne-Marie. Thank you for being here. I described Toowoomba's weather to be similar to Melbourne weather. It can be chilly in the morning and then warm in the day and then cold at night. Yeah. Yep. Oh no, Anna's just lost her crochet hook. It happens. It'll be there somewhere, I promise you. Look in your hair, look in the couch cushions, check everywhere. They'll be there. I'm starting to think we need little trackers, little GPS trackers in our hooks so that we can find them again. Does anybody remember having those keys on their car keys, those little key ring things where you could whistle or you could make a noise and it would react and have a little alarm or something that went off so you could find them? I'm starting to think maybe we need some of those on our crochet hooks and some on our stitch markers too. I am positive there is a whole colony of them located in my couch somewhere. Every time I put one down, I go to grab it and it's not there. So I am convinced they grow legs and just walk away. A lovely cup of tea. Okay, so I have another question for everybody. Do you have a dream project that you've always wanted to make? It's one of those things that you've looked at and gone, oh, that is absolutely beautiful. I would absolutely love to make that one day. And one day I'm going to go and get the yarn that I need. I'm going to buy a new hook and I'm going to get all set up. And this is going to be the perfect project. And I'm going to absolutely love it. Do you have one of those projects at all that you have on the whip list that you know is going to be a dream project? Have you always wanted to make something and just not had the chance or haven't had the option yet? I'd love to hear what those are. I'll tell you mine in a second. Angela Wasname. Hi, Angela. 17 degrees today in Adelaide. Adelaide is just dry. Aww. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you, Angela. Thanks for being here. Darren's here as well. Hi, Darren. Late to the party, but you made it, and that's what counts. Thank you so much. It is so lovely to just be sitting here chatting with you all. It really does feel like just chatting with my friends. Chatting about crochet, something that we all love, something that we all enjoy. Crochet, knitting, felting. If anybody has one of those dream projects, I'll tell you what mine is. So for me, my dream project is the Mystical Lanterns blanket. I think it's made by Janie Crow, and it is absolutely stunning. I wish I had a picture of it so I could show it to you. It's just the lovely layout and design of it. So essentially it's like a granny square project, but instead of being a rounded or a square granny square, they're shaped like lanterns and they grow like that. And then you interlink them so that it looks like lovely, beautiful, colourful, bright lanterns. And that's something I would absolutely love to make. Again, that would be something that would require a lot of yarn and a lot of different colours of yarn. So I would have to sit down and coordinate all the colours, whether or not I'd make it in cotton or acrylic, all those sorts of things. So that's something I would love to make eventually. That's on my eventual list. But let me hear what some of yours are. Okay, so Coco is doing a colourwork knit sweater. Have the yarn and I'm learning to knit. Oh, fantastic. Good luck, Coco. I hope that works out really well. Caroline, hi from GA USA. Hi, Caroline. I'm glad you made it. Pam would like to make a cardigan. She'd like that to be her first. Well, depending on what kind of cardigan you'd like to make, do you have a particular style that you're looking for? Trish would be making her first cable throw, 2 different cables. Oh wow, that sounds amazing. Leah, Dream Project Crochet is one of those intricate Janie Crow blankets. Yep, exactly. Dream Knit is an all-over colourwork jumper or cardigan. I doubt I will ever make either. Oh, don't be like that. I'm sure you will one day. Eventually, you like me. Eventually, I'll get there. Oh yes, I've seen that blanket. Crochet Crowd also did one similar, which I did. Oh, that's fantastic, Sam. Leslie, that sounds lovely. Yeah, the Mystical Lanterns is so bright. So I should have had a picture of it to show you, to be honest. But if you have a look at it, maybe Google it or something in your spare time and have a look at what that looks like. You'll see what I mean when I say it involves a lot of colour work, a lot of different complementary colours. Kathy from Taranaki, hi Kathy, kia ora. Hope you're nice and warm even though it's so chilly over there at the moment. I'm so glad you made it, thank you. Kim's here. Hi Kim, thank you so much for being here, I appreciate that. I'm glad there's someone else from sunny Newcastle. That's wonderful. Anne-Marie would like to make a love note sweater. Oh, I haven't heard of that before. Wow. What's Angela? Angela and Kathy are having a bit of a chat. Darren, is everyone else having a hard time hearing? My volume is all the way up. I'm so sorry. Let me try and move the mic a little bit closer. Let's see if that makes any difference. Sorry, it's going to be in shot now, but hopefully... Is that any better, Darren? Can you hear me a little bit better now? Never heard of Love Note sweater, says Sam. Yarn Doc, I would like to knit a Fair Isle sweater. Oh, yes, but I don't really knit. Yeah, that's another one of mine that's on my eventually I'll get there list. I'm going to have to start calling them whips from now on because they're future whips. They will be a work in progress, just not yet. Just not yet. And did you find your hook? Has anyone taken advantage of the 50% off at Spotlight sale? Yes, the Marvel 12 ply is on clearance for $2. That's fantastic. Yes, there is a huge 50% off sale at Spotlight happening at the moment. I have put in a small order, a small order that arrived the other day, and it's actually new yarn I've never worked with before, and I just finished filming the review of it yesterday. So that new video should be out within the next few days, probably Wednesday, I would say, at this stage. And I won't mention what it is or anything, but I was very impressed, let's put it that way, because I wasn't expecting much. So I'm just going to say that. And then the rest, I purposefully have been avoiding looking at Spotlight because the Australian Sheep and Wool show is in about 2 weeks' time. And if I keep buying yarn at Spotlight, I'm going to be broke when I go to Bendigo, and I don't want that at all. That would be absolutely tragic. So, Linda, hi Mel from the central coast of New South Wales. You're making a Labubu doll. Okay. All right. What is a Labubu? Somebody please explain to me. I've seen the pictures of them, and they're terrifying. Why does everybody love these things? What is the deal? What is the appeal of these things? It's amazing to me. I can't understand them. Kim's making a shawl. Tina bought heaps of Karen cakes today for lap blankets. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So Darren said he could hear me a little better. Wonder what's up with my phone. Okay, so maybe it might be on your end, Darren. Sorry. Is it volume's okay for Magic in the Forest? Okay. Found it, Sam. Yep. Okay. Wonder what's up with me. Yeah. So Darren, it sounds like it might be your end. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Lee said she looked at Spotlight, but I don't know what to buy. I'm not very experienced with crochet. Everything seems too bulky for what I want. Okay, so Lee, I'm just going to ask you, what are you looking to make? What project are you wanting to make? If you start with that, that will help you to figure out what kind of yarn or yarn weight you need. So if you're looking at something smaller and more delicate, then we might be able to point you in the right direction. If everything's looking too bulky, then maybe what you're accessing or what you're looking at is in the higher end and chunkier scale. So let us know what you want to work on, and we might be able to help you to point you in the right direction maybe. Raven Thistle Art, hi, thanks for being here. I'm still working through the 3 of the 15 mandala ombre deals. Yeah, I have to say I did take advantage of that deal. I didn't get the ombre though. I got the mandala in the gnome colorway. I bought four cakes of that. They're sitting over there looking at me, and I keep going like this because I'm not ready to use them yet. I don't want to offend my yarn while it's sitting there. Trish is saying she does have to turn up the volume more than normal. Sorry, guys. Lives are a bit harder to set up for. So all the things and all the equipment we would normally use for filming a video doesn't always work in a live setting. So we've had to switch to a different microphone. We've had to set it up differently. So if you are having issues seeing me or hearing me, let me know and we'll do what we can to adjust it. I've got the mic as close as I can. If I pull it any closer, it might just be a little too loud. But yeah, if let me know if there's anything I can do to sort of adjust things from my end, I'll do my best. But unfortunately, we don't have as much control over volume and things like that as we do in recorded videos, because with those we can edit them and adjust the volume, we can adjust the audio, we can adjust all the settings and fix things.
Can I interrupt for 2
Mr.
seconds?
Yarniverse is here to help me out.
If you want to click on the 3 dots under the Rode mic.
Yep.
And properties, I think it was. Or
Yep.
audio properties. Yep. It's at 120%.
It's just saying default.
Okay. There should be something that says.
Hang on, I've just switched it to Rode.
Nice.
So, sorry, we're just playing with the
Oh no, hop out of that. Yep.
with the settings a little bit. Hopefully we can.
Hit the 3 dot. Advanced audio properties. Is that what you just put? Nope.
No.
So that there. Can you bump that up?
All right, so we're just working on boosting the audio a little bit. I'm not sure if that's making any difference.
Let me know if it works.
If it's helping, please let me know. So I've just bumped it up a little bit. Everybody's saying hi, Mr. Yarniverse.
Hey everyone. Hello everyone.
Logged out and came back in numerous times now and still the same, but all is well. Okay, Trish is saying it sounds just fine, thank you. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. I've boosted it as much as I can. If I go any louder, it'll start distorting and it'll be an issue. And
so, do try it. Like if people are still having issues, boost it right up. They'll hear the cars and stuff. But if they can hear you better, give it a go.
Okay.
All right, bye everyone. I'll leave you alone now. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Universe. Sounds good. Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Okay. All right, well, hopefully things improve a little bit. We've got little tips and tricks here that we can use if we absolutely need it. So I've just boosted it a little bit, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. All right, so Rhonda's using her headphones or earbuds makes the volume loud and clear. That's fantastic. Thank you, Rhonda. That's a great tip. Lisa's saying, I bought from Spotlight the Pebble baby yarn. It's very beautiful. I got white and yellow. Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds really nice. Jenny, hi Jenny. Thank you for being here. Mr. Yarniverse does a beautiful professional job on the videos. Always a pleasure watch. Oh, thank you for saying that. Don't say it anymore because it'll go to his head. We need him to keep doing what he's doing. No, thank you very much for that. That's really very sweet of you to think of him like that. Thank you. And he does. He works very hard to make sure that everything looks okay and everything sounds okay. So he puts in a lot of effort. Darren's saying it sounds better. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Okay. Jane's saying that she'd like to make the Canyon Moon Rising blanket by Susan Kennedy. Ooh, using the Lion Brand mandala. Yeah, it's a lovely yarn that. It really works up really well. It has a lovely feel to it too, the mandala. I'm not sure what that is, or that just comes down to the processing or the manufacturing of the yarn, I think, but it's so lovely. Trish is also saying that she loves Susan Kennedy. Wow. Okay, so that's somebody I need to look up. That's fantastic. If you have any other recommendations for people, so Janie Crow is one that I really admire. She does look like she's very complicated and very technical, but I actually think that if you go into some of her patterns, the breakdown and the explanation for them is actually quite good. So there's nothing worse than finding a fantastic project that you really, really love and really like the look of, and then when you access the pattern, it doesn't make any sense, or it's not written in a way that works for you. I find that really frustrating. So I always try my best to write my patterns in a way that is nice and clear. hopefully that's coming across. So if anybody's had any issues reading my patterns or have found any issues with the way that I explain the stitch work or anything, please by all means let me know. I'm more than open to feedback. I tried my best to make sure that there's like charts and terminology charts and all those sorts of things, so that if you're used to UK terminology, you can still use a US written pattern by using the chart in the back of the pattern, so that you can just translate from the US to UK, and vice versa. So I always try to make it as inclusive and as adaptable as possible for everybody. But I know that doesn't always come across that way, and sometimes people still struggle. So if I can help, and if you are using one of my patterns and you need some help, as I've always said, by all means let me know and I'll jump on that absolutely and give you as much help as I can. So Sam's saying that she's still keeping her purse closed, waiting for the Wangaratta Woolen Mills big winter sale. Ooh. The money is burning a hole through it though. Yeah, I can understand that. So for me, it's the sheep and wool show. I know I keep going on about it, but it's because there are so many yarn retailers from all over the country, all in one place. And they're all selling their yarn. And so it's pretty much a 3-day yarn bonanza with everyone, with everybody there appreciating and enjoying yarn. And it's not just for knitting and crochet. There are tops and rovings for spinners and felters. It's pretty much everything from the fleece right through. So, and also notions and hooks and needles and stitch markers and tape measures and all sorts of things, drop spindles, spinning wheels, all that sort of thing. Oh, I do need to let you know. This is a little bit of a secret that I overheard and probably shouldn't have. I know of somebody who may possibly be getting a spinning wheel for their birthday next month, which is very exciting. It's something I've always wanted to learn, and it may be happening. So I'll keep you updated on that one. We'll see how we go. Who else have we got jumping in the chat? We've got a few new people showing up. Fantastic. Lise, hello from Arkansas. Wow, 90 degrees Fahrenheit here today, which is roughly 31 degrees. Oh, that would sound lovely to me at the moment. Hoping to make some of the Muppet puppets from the book. Oh, I love those. I've seen that Muppet book. Oh, amazing. The first one I would make is Animal. I'd absolutely have to make Animal. Then I could make Kermit and everybody else, but Animal would have to be, I think Animal is pretty much my spirit animal. I love Animal. He's amazing. And the Muppet puppets all look beautiful. I've seen so many of them all over Facebook and everything. Just gorgeous. Absolutely love the Muppets. Obviously grew up in the 80s. So Linny, where are we? Oh, I finished your Kindred Spirit scarf. Just have to do the fringe. Use the Granny Square yarn by Red Heart. Oh, wonderful. I'd love to see what that would look like. That would look amazing. So do you mean the all-in-one Granny Square yarn? I'd love to see how that worked out. I love the feel of that scarf, the amount of texture in it. It's as soon as you're wearing it, you start doing this. And you can't help it because you're just rubbing the texture of the bobbles and the ridges and the chain spaces and everything. It all just feels lovely. It's a lovely design. I'm really, really proud of that and really love it. Angela, are you going to Bendigo? Yes, I am. Much to Mr. Yarniverse's fear and dread. We shall see. I'm trying to limit my spending, but when I am surrounded with wall-to-wall yarn, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So I might sit here and say that I'll try not to go too crazy with it. But if we need to add a new room to the house to store what I bring back, that's probably not too far out of the realms of possibility. We'll just see. Sam, so I'll try to get to that yarn and wool show next year. Yeah, that would be wonderful, Sam. And you know what? If you can't physically make it there, hopefully you'll feel like you're a part of it by coming with me. So hopefully, and that's always my goal with all of my videos, is to hopefully feel like I'm hanging out with my friends and we're going and having this lovely day out and these wonderful experiences. So I try to make you feel like you're part of it and that you're all there with me. And that makes me feel wonderful. I really love being able to do that. So being able to share these things with all of you just absolutely makes my day. Makes it all worth it. So yeah, so hopefully if you can't physically make it, hopefully you'll feel like you're part of it and that you're being there. But if you ever are in this area, if you're ever on your way through to Bendigo, if you have to come through Ballarat, please let me know. Absolutely love to catch up. That would be wonderful. Leah's saving up for Wyong Fibre Festival in September. Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh. Melissa McDonald, I still have most of my mill end bale from Wangaratta Woolen Mill to untangle in the garage. Oh no, what happened with that? All got tangled. Oh no. Tangles are just horrible things, aren't they? Are we all looking at the person who may be getting the wheel? Possibly. Maybe you're looking at the person getting the spinning wheel. Maybe. We shall see. You watch, now that I've put that out into the universe, it won't happen. And I'll have to start saving up again. But we'll see. Carol, oh, exciting. I've been spinning today. Oh, how wonderful. What a lovely day for spinning. That would be beautiful. It feels like just another natural extension of crocheting and knitting to take that extra step and be able to spin and dye your own yarns so that you could then take that and turn it into a blanket or a wearable or something, or a gift for someone. It just feels like that natural extension, doesn't it? That spinning aspect. Jane, Animal Rocks. Yep, absolutely does. I think Beaker or the Swedish Chef are the first ones. Oh, nice. Yep, the Swedish Chefs are definitely up there, and poor Beaker. Moonbeam Night, hello from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hello, thank you for joining us. I'm working on a review for an Amigurumi kit. Oh, nice. I have to be careful not to just do my own thing too much. Yeah, I understand that completely. I do, absolutely do. Amigurumi kits are a great thing to review too, because everybody wants to find one that works really well and that is quite easy to use, or that has some sort of aspect to it that makes it a little bit better or a little bit different from other Amigurumi kits. And more often than not, you hear about people saying, oh, did you try this one? Oh, don't, it's terrible. So as you can see, I've got 3 of them sitting here and I'm too scared to touch them. Mainly because they state that they're made for beginners, but each of the parts are things that you need to sew tiny little pieces together. Now, even if you know how to crochet, that doesn't mean you're very good at sewing. I am a terrible sewer, and putting something like this together is just a nightmare for me. So I'm too scared to even open it, let alone review it. I will do it if everybody's interested in seeing it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Let me just put it that way.
Can I interrupt one more time?
Mr. Yanovis.
Is that better for you for chat? Or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same.
That's working fine as it is?
Yeah, right, yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Took me forever.
Oh, thank you. Traveling with you always makes me feel part of the fun, for sure. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic, Sam. Thank you for that feedback. I always work really hard to try and include everybody, so thank you. Is that a turmeric latte? No, it's actually a chai latte. It's just a chai. It's lovely, and it's probably gone cold because I keep talking, which is fine. I'm more than happy about that. Coco, I feel like your videos do that, Mal. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. All right, what else have we got down here? Kim, love watching your day out to the op shops. You know what, Kim? Don't say anything to anyone, but they're actually my favourite videos to film. I love them. I love being able to go out and show you guys what's out there and find these little treasures that just look so beautiful and be able to appreciate other people's work. Not everyone gets the opportunity to do that, and some people will go to their op shops or their thrift stores and not find anything. Sometimes there are a lot of ideas of, oh, I'll go down and I'll grab a spare blanket, or I'll grab this and I'll grab that, and then I can do these things. And then it doesn't happen because those things aren't there. And that can be really upsetting. Oh, thank you. Oh, Mr. Yarniverse is warming up my chai. Isn't that lovely? Oh, bless him. I don't know what I'd do without him. But yeah, quite often we'll go to a thrift store thinking we'll pick up something and then we can do something with it. Maybe we'll find a blanket and turn it into something, or maybe we'll find some sheets and sew them up and turn them into something else. And then you get there and there's none there, or what they do have just isn't appropriate for what you were looking to do with them. And that can be upsetting as well, or just a little bit frustrating. So yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating, but for me, it's not so much the prospect of buying stuff, it's finding out what's there. I like to poke around and dig through books and through paperwork and old patterns and look at old knitting needles and look at the blankets that people have made. And that can be upsetting when you get there and there aren't any, or you're planning on maybe using a blanket to turn into something else and then it's not there. So then you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? But I guess the positive thing to take from that is that if the blankets aren't in the thrift stores or the op shops, then hopefully that means people are buying them and appreciating them and using them for their intended purpose, which is always a good thing. So that's fantastic. Okay. So Moonbeam, there are a lot of terrible Amigurumi kits. Yep. So many say they are for beginners and I disagree. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I've been crocheting for many, many years, so I have to be mindful of assessing what level they are. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Yarniverse. My chai is nice and hot now. Yeah, so another one, DIY crochet kit. It's a little bit more simple. Doesn't have as many pieces to sew together. Doesn't look as intimidating. But again, they all say they're for beginners. A beginner doesn't even know how to read a pattern yet. So selling a kit with a pattern and the yarn is great for someone who knows what that pattern means and how to read that pattern. But if you're an absolute beginner, you don't have that skill set yet. So unless the kit comes with photos or a printable photo step-by-step process or a link to a video showing that process, how are they supposed to know how to make these things? They're not for beginners at all. They're for more experienced crocheters or a beginner who at least knows how to read a pattern, how to make the original stitches, so your chain stitches, your single crochets, your slip stitches, all of those things. You have to have that knowledge already, and you have to be able to read a pattern before you even pick one of these up. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just going to frustrate yourself. You're going to sit there and think that, oh no, I can't do this. That means I can't crochet, and that's not right. You absolutely can. It's just these things are not meant for beginners and they need to stop saying that they are. That's my opinion anyway. Rochelle's in the chat from USA. Hi Rochelle, thank you so much for being here. Selena's here. Wow, good morning from Germany. Oh, fantastic. Oh, sorry, Solana. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Wow. Lee saying her local oppie has very little yarn, but she did manage to find an amazing 1980s hardcover book of crochet jumpers for just $2. Fantastic. I love when that happens. That's always a blessing when you actually manage to find something. It's just brilliant. Makes my day. And I love that old paper smell. Oh, beautiful. Carol saying, if I find a good supply of yarn while thrifting, I take pics and share to my crochet meetup for others to come and snag a bargain. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. It's something that I've been having a chat with a friend of mine who lives locally, and we're thinking about putting together a crocheting group so that we could all sit and chat, share any yarn that we're not using. The other thing that I think would be really great for crochet and knitting groups to be doing is to make knitting needles and crochet hooks in different styles and different brands available. So if you've got old hooks that you no longer use and they have, say, an ergonomic handle and you no longer use them, take them to your group and put it in a little cup or a jar and make it available for other people, because so many people ask me which crochet hooks should they buy, and it's such a divisive subject because I don't know how big their hands are, I don't know what their technique is like, I don't know what they like to crochet, I don't know what their style's like, and even if I did, they're so unique to each of us. We could all have the exact same size and style of hook and the exact same yarn, and we could all follow the exact same pattern, and every single project would be completely unique. And that's what I love about this craft. It's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And so when somebody says, what should I use? I get very conflicted because I know what works for me based on my technique and my skill set, my hands. I know what I like to hold, what grip works for me, but I don't know that for other people. And if there was a physical group that you could go to where you get to try all different sizes and styles of crochet hook, that would just be an absolute dream come true, because you could sit there with a ball of yarn and try a couple of different things and figure out what feels best for you. And that's probably the best way to figure out what kind of hook you should be using. And I think if we had a group set up like that, where we could physically do that, that would help so many people, particularly beginners, because they all sort of think, I have to go out and buy this and this and this and this. Not necessarily. Maybe what you've been given, or maybe the things that have been handed down to you will be fine. Maybe the old arrow or boy hooks are just what you need. Maybe that's perfect for you. Don't always assume that you have to buy the most expensive hook set or the most expensive yarn to work with for it to work. That's not necessarily the case at all. Maybe something that you have already is just what you need. So, and sometimes it might just be not having that option available to you kind of forces you to have to try different things, which is what started me reviewing yarn hooks, crochet hooks in the first place, because I wanted to find out if I could be working more comfortably and for longer using a different style of hook. So then I tried a few different brands and a few different things before I settled on the Clovers, which work for me. But even so, even though I'm happy with my Clover Amours, I will still try others, because you don't know what else is out there. What if I've sat here for 40 years using the same hook, and then I try one new one and go, oh wow, that's much better. My hand doesn't cramp anymore, or I can sit here all day and crochet instead of only being able to crochet for an hour or two. So yeah, I think it's important to try different hooks, and I think that an opportunity like that would be brilliant, to be able to try different things and help each other out that way. You know, I don't use these anymore, so maybe someone else can get some benefit from it. Beverly, I enjoy the op shop hauls and you recycle the product. The books and patterns bring back good memories. Yeah, they do. They really do. That musty paper smell. Oh, I just love that. Anna, thank you, Sam. Carol, I found an Australian apron new in package today. Wow. Beautiful Aboriginal artwork. I'm going to wear it while spinning. Oh, that sounds lovely. Lisa, Mel, how easy to teach kids to crochet. I bought my grandkids a loom kit and teach them on the school holidays. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. I'm sure they'll love that. Yarn Doc, hooks are so personal. They really are. They really are. And what works for one person may not necessarily work for somebody else. So, and I understand completely that brand loyalty when you find the one that just works for you and just saying, well, that's it. I found the one for me and I'm not trying anything else. I'm happy with this. So absolutely, I will say, as many hooks as I try, I do come back to my clovers, but I'm still happy to try something new. There are a couple of hooks I've got my eye on actually, but I'm waiting until after the sheep and wool show before I make any purchases. So once we've been there and had that experience, then I can go back to trying new things and trying different kits and trying different hooks and reviewing different yarns and things like that. So I'm just kind of holding off as much as I can until after the wool show, and then I'd like to purchase a couple of different crochet hooks from different brands and different styles and have a look at those and see how they work up. So hopefully we might even find some new hooks that I can recommend, which would be great. Leah's saying my local yarn shop has a yarn library where you can leave stuff for others and take things you might need. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I always leave something and have taken a skein of sock yarn once that has come in handy. That's perfect. That's the sort of thing I'd love to set up. There is a group here in Ballarat called Winter Woolies for Ballarat, and they are a knitting and crochet group. They are a social group. They meet, I think, once a week. I'm not quite sure. I need to double check. And they also accept donations for different charities. For I think 6 months of the year, they'll make things and donate those for that particular charity, and then for the next 6 months they'll move on to a different charity. So they're always helping all the different charities in town. I have some blankets here that I need to drop off to them. So I'm just finishing them. Some of them started as granny squares that were just too small to actually be considered blankets. So I'm sort of just working extra rounds around those to bulk them out a bit so I can donate them. So those will go to them as well. But yeah, that idea of a yarn library where you can leave stuff and take stuff and try stuff and help each other out, that's ideal. That would be perfect. So whether or not we try to set up something like that here, that would be amazing. I think giving people that opportunity to try something different and try something new, and have people they could physically interact with and ask questions with. So maybe they're stuck on a pattern and they're not sure how to address it or how to fix it. Bring it to the group. That would be fantastic. Nadia is saying, hi Mel, true beginners are attempting to learn stitches. Yeah, that's right. Crocheting is supposed to be relaxing. Yep. Kits are best avoided. Just have fun experimenting with yarn. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to have found your site as a newbie, and I'm happy you found us too. Thank you, Nadia. Absolutely agree. Absolutely. Moonbeam saying, I have a big collection of hooks with different grips that I like to share for people to try and have as they learn to figure out what works best. Yeah, agreed. It's the best way to figure it out. I feel like you've got to attempt it. You've got to try it. You've got to use it and see if it works with your technique, if it fits your hand properly, all those sorts of things. It's kind of a bit like Mr. Ollivander and the wands in Harry Potter. You've got to get the right one before it works properly, and then you're good to go. Jenny's saying her favourite are the clovers. Yep, absolutely. I recently bought an Addy swing hook for $25 from Spotlight. Absolutely hate the thing. Oh no, that's not great, Melissa. That's actually one of the brands I was looking at trying. So I'm looking at the Addy hook. If you can, let me know why you didn't like it. Is it the hook on it, the actual metallic hook, or is it the handle that doesn't work? Or I'm intrigued by the shape of the handle on those hooks. They could either work really well and be really comfortable, or because they are that specific shape, maybe they'll be really awkward to work with because you can't manipulate them as well as other hooks. I'm intrigued by them. I'm intrigued. So if you give me more info on that, that would be great. What else is everybody saying? So many. And I apologize if I've missed your comment. The chat's going through beautifully and I'm loving it, but yeah, I can miss some comments every now and again, so I apologize. Okay. What else have we got? Sam's the same. She loves and is willing to try new hooks, usually return to Clover or my bamboo Chiagu hooks. Chiagu is another brand that I'd love to try. I keep hearing that not only their hooks are great, but mostly their knitting needles are fantastic. So I'd love to give them a go. Moonbeam saying she swaps between hooks when I use different materials, but I have a favourite set for sure. It's a new favourite though because ever-changing. Yeah, absolutely. Always best. Diana, I always enjoy your outings shopping for treasure. Oh, thank you, Diana. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here today. Susan, hello, Mel. Hi, everybody in the chat. Hi, Susan. Thanks for being here. Elle, hi, Mel. Been listening for a bit while I clean. And about hooks, I recently got a tulip hook and really recommend them, but they are a bit expensive. Yeah, tulips can be pricey. The one thing I like about both Clover and Tulip are that they sell individual hooks, so you don't have to buy an entire set to give one a try. So yeah, they can be expensive. I know Clovers are cheaper than Tulips, but the fact that they sell an individual sized hook instead of a whole set is brilliant. I love that you can pick a hook size that you use the most and give that a try. Especially if you have a particular yarn that is your favorite to work with. Everybody please bombard me with your favorite yarns, especially going up to a sheep and wool show. If you have a favorite brand of yarn or a favorite style of yarn, I tend to stick more to mid-range yarns, and I've figured out why. As much as I would love to work with smaller lace weight cottons and things like that, the amount of focus and concentration on such a small hook with such a small yarn would give me a migraine. And most people here know that I suffer from terrible chronic migraines and I don't need any help to bring on a migraine. So as much as I would love to do it, and as much as I would love to make very intricate and delicate doilies and things like that, I just can't afford to be that concentrated and focused for that long on such a small thing for a long length of time. I'm thinking I could maybe try a little bit and then put it aside and then do a little bit more and put it aside and maybe do it that way. But I don't want to tempt the migraine gods into having a go at me. As much as I would love to try it, I am a little bit hesitant to do that. So I tend to stick more to mid-range yarns. So I would say from anything from a 3 to a 4. So I would go 4-ply, 8-ply, 10-ply, 12-ply. And then possibly into chunky yarns, but I wouldn't go any bigger than that because I can find really thick chunky yarns can be just as cumbersome and just as frustrating, particularly if you're working on something where you have a tight tension. I tend to get more caught up with the thicker yarns, so I tend to stay more with the mid-range yarns. So your 4-ply, 8-ply, 10-ply, 12-ply. So that would be your light worsted and your worsted weights across the US, and your Aran weights in the UK. So I'd be in that middle range just because it's light enough to work with, it's adaptable enough to be able to make wearables, home decor, you can make bags, you can make everything that you need to within that middle range. Cottons, I use all different fibers as long as it's all in that middle range of weight. That seems to be ideal for me. But in terms of favorite brands of yarn, I don't know at this stage. I'm still trying so many. I will say that the Bendigo Woolen Mills cotton is the best quality cotton that I have found, particularly now that Australians can't really order from Hobby or Hobie anymore. because they're not shipping here anymore. And I know a lot of people were impacted by that because they used to use Hobie cotton exclusively. So they're a little bit stressed out at the moment trying to find another cotton to replace their Hobie cottons. Coco saying, I'd recommend giving the larger clovers a try, Mel, even though they're plastic. I've enjoyed them. Okay, that's fantastic. I find the plastic ones can be not just squeaky, but they kind of, because they're plastic, they don't glide, so they'll get stuck. And it's not necessarily the head or the tip of your hook that's getting stuck. It's actually the working space. The yarn will stick to that bit there. And I can find that a little bit frustrating. But I need at least a 6.5, a 7, and a 7.5, and an 8. So I'd like to go up to that size in a hook that is reliably good, if that makes sense. But if you recommend giving them a go, I will try them. Obviously, because I love the shape of the handle already, hopefully they will work out okay. The other brand that I was looking at was We Crochet. In particular, their dots hooks apparently are quite comfortable, and apparently they're a little bit longer in the handle. So anyone with bigger hands or anyone who likes to grip their hook a certain way, find the We Crochet dots hooks quite good. So I'd like to give them a try as well. Kathy's saying, I only use Chiagu circulars. I've heard that. Hats, socks, shawls, sweaters, crochet, I just use whatever. Spotlight New Zealand is also on special this weekend, but ours is $2.50 for the Marvel. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, the Chiagu circulars I've heard are fantastic. I haven't had a chance to do much knitting this year. I'm not particularly great at it as it is. I did finish one beanie and I learnt how to decrease in my knitting, so I was very proud of that. If you ask me to do it again, I'd have to go back and research again how I did it, but I did do it. So that counts as a win for me. I'm happy with that. Raven's also saying I tend to stick to 8 or 10 ply. Yep, me too. But I do like using thin yarn with a 5mm hook. So Hobie cotton cakes, I just used a 5mm. Okay. So by doing that, did that give you extra drape and space between the stitches by using a bigger hook with the smaller cotton? I'm assuming that's exactly what happened, that you had a bit more room and a bit more space. So for lacy sort of delicate work, if you've got that bigger hook, sometimes it just makes it a little bit more loose and a little bit more drapey because there's extra space between the stitches. So I'm guessing that helped. But if you could let me know why you stick with the 5mm, that would be great. Kim saying, okay, didn't know Nui had a crochet gang. Okay. Sandra, hands down. Oh, where'd that go? Chat moved. Hands down Bendigo Woolen Mill for quality, but at the moment using indie dyed 4-ply for squares and an 8-ply for rectangle granny for blanket. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, Bendigo, again, I keep coming back to it, but they just really have great quality products. I've never bought anything from there and gone, oh no, this is awful. There's obviously different products that are better quality than others, but I've never once bought something from Bendigo and gone, oh well, that was just a waste of money, that was terrible, I'm never using that again. I've never had that experience with them. I have heard other people have had that experience where they've bought the wool because it is 100% wool and expected it to be much softer than it was, so they were disappointed. But I haven't heard anybody saying this was absolute garbage, it was full of knots, I couldn't use it, it tangled all the time, like nothing like that. So that's always a good sign. Lisa's saying I buy mine from Oz Yarn and I love the Summer Stash Squish. It's acrylic and very soft, makes beautiful baby blankets. That's fantastic. Oz Yarn I've heard of. I haven't ordered from there directly yet, but I've heard that Oz Yarn have some fantastic products available. Magic in the Forest, absolutely agree about Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn. It can be expensive, but you are never upset at the quality. Yeah, the thing to remember with Bendigo is that what you're buying isn't a 100 gram ball. You're getting a 200 gram donut. Like, let's grab this one. So that's an 8 ply. You're getting 200 grams in that ball, whereas most wools in particular, so not acrylic's a little bit cheaper. So wool, when you're looking at wool, a 200 gram ball of pure wool is normally a lot more expensive than, or you pay a lot more to get 200 grams worth of that than you do at Bendigo. So yeah, maybe $16 or something like that, roughly, I think, for their most of their yarns. So 16, some go up to 18, some are a bit more. Does seem like a lot up front, but when you look at the yardage, when you look at the weight, when you look at the quality, as expensive as it might be up front, it's very cost effective for the amount of yarn that you're actually getting. So this particular cotton, which I still haven't started to work with, by the way, I'm still sitting here not crocheting. I've got the chat part down right, but I haven't got the crochet part yet. So this is a 200 gram ball of their printed cotton, and the yardage on this is 485 meters, which is huge. That's nearly half a kilometer of cotton wool, like cotton. That's incredible. And I think I paid $16 or maybe $15 for that at the time. I think it was on sale when I bought it. So I'm really happy with that. I think that amount of yardage. Thank you so much, Mr. Yarniverse.
You've been on for an hour.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I think that's pretty good quality, and I think that's pretty good cost effectiveness. That will go a long way. That will make a lot of different projects. So I'm happy to pay that. And again, the quality is just amazing. Coco's favorite yarn at this early stage is Lang, especially their merinos from Italy. Ooh. Imagine it's pricey in Australia. It can normally be pricey when it's imported. It depends on who's selling it. So see, the thing about expensive yarns in Australia is mainly because it's either been imported or it's been shipped from one side of the country to the other. Because our country is so big, getting it from one side to the other can be quite expensive, and particularly yarn because it's heavy. So the costs associated with importing and shipping things, something I really wanted to do when I started this channel was work out how to do yarn swaps. So for people in the States and over in Europe and in the UK to be able to send us some yarn so we can try what they've got over there, and for us to be able to do the same and say, here, try some Australian quality stuff. And when I looked into it, the cost of the shipping alone just blew that idea out of the water, because it would just be so expensive for anyone to send anything to Australia and for anyone in Australia to send any yarn overseas. Unfortunately, it's really quite expensive. So even if the brand of yarn is selling their yarn at quite a reasonable price, once you add the shipping costs on top, that's normally what makes it no longer worthwhile. You end up most of the time paying more for the shipping than you do for the actual thing itself, which is really frustrating. And I wish there was something that our government could do to adjust the prices on shipping for us here, because quite often, unless a big name chain store can get their hands on something and import it, and they can absorb those shipping costs, we just don't get access to it. So the only way you'll find those amazing little independent yarn retailers are either through your local yarn store, and they've taken a risk and put in an order for some amazing European yarn, or maybe some amazing yarn from Peru or something like that. And then because they've taken on those costs, they now have to charge you for it. So that $4 skein of yarn is now going to cost you $12 because they've got to pay for their shipping. So unfortunately, it's a nightmare. Oh, Magic in the Forest bought a coffee for Mr. Yarniverse. Oh, that's so sweet. That's lovely. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Moonbeam, I would be happy to send some stuff, but I think the cheapest shipping method would be just to go there for a visit and pack my luggage. That you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It probably would be. I will say I sent a couple of skeins to a friend over in the States, and it was nearly $60, 60 Australian dollars to send her the yarn that I had here. I gave her some hooks and things like that. And yeah, the shipping itself was just ridiculous. So I hope she enjoys that yarn because I won't be able to send her any more for quite a while. Melissa, I get overwhelmed when I go into Bendigo Woolen Mills because I can't take everything home with me. Yeah, I understand that completely. Sam saying, don't sack that man. He's a keeper. He is coming in here with my heating up my chai because I just keep yapping away. Yeah, he's a keeper for sure. Absolutely.
Does the celebrate thing work?
Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Okay, so if Magic in the Forest has done that for Mr. Yarniverse, I'm going to try something here and see if this works. So, thank you, Magic in the Forest. Did it work? Did that happen? Hopefully that worked. Kathy saying same in New Zealand about the postage. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Thank you, Kiri. Australian shipping is very expensive. You're absolutely right. Thank you for being here, by the way. Sam saying, I know Hirschner's is currently looking for a courier which they can use to send yarn to Australia. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Emma saying, I bought their bounce. I hated working with it. Oh, why was that, Emma? What happened with that? Hirschner's has a lot of options. They do, Coco, you're right. And yes, it does. And now it has Big Twist. So that's another yarn that would be nice to try. Again, it's hard when you're over here in Australia and you see a lot of big YouTubers, not professional ones like me, but the big guys. So people like Tony from TL Yarn Crafts, who's going to be here next year for the crochet convention next year. That's really exciting. That's huge. That just doesn't happen in Australia. More often than not, when the Crochet Guild of Australia have their conventions, they will bring guest crocheters and artists into their conventions, which is fantastic. And this year they've actually brought a YouTuber who crochets, which is great. So next year. So hopefully I can save up and go to that because that would be wonderful. I often dream of going overseas with empty suitcases and filling them with yarn. Denmark, UK, Italy, Sweden. Yeah, one can dream. Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Magic in the Forest, haha, it did work and it was loud. Hey! The celebration worked, yay! Well, thank you, Magic in the Forest, for buying that coffee for Mr. Yarniverse. He's going to be absolutely thrilled. Leah, definitely cheaper to go on a holiday to New Zealand than to ship what I would buy home. Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Leah, I was in New Zealand a couple of years ago with my son and my mum. We actually went over and did a big Lord of the Rings thing because we're all massive fans. We went to Hobbiton and all that sort of stuff. And when we were in Wellington, we asked a taxi driver to take us to a wool shop so that we could buy some wool from New Zealand. And first he had to Google it, and then he rang a couple of other friends because he didn't know where we wanted to go and he couldn't find what he was after. So when he finally found a yarn store, we were so happy, and we walked in and the yarn there was just lovely. And my mum bought some possum yarn, some possum wool, and actually made me a scarf with it, and I've still got it, and it is still the softest thing I think I own. It is beautiful. Sounds weird, possum wool, but it was absolutely just gorgeous. Oh, Raven Thistle, sorry, welcome to Yarnies. Are you a new member? Oh, you know what that means. That one was for Raven. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the possum yarn, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was, I've still got it. It's actually hanging up over there on my hat stand. She just did a very basic, simple garter stitch scarf, and I love it, absolutely love it. I've never heard of possum yarn or possum wool until we went to New Zealand, and it was probably, even after everything that we saw, everything that we did, it's probably still my favorite souvenir from that trip is my scarf, and it was absolutely beautiful. Natasha's saying, hi, I love your channel. Hi, Natasha, or Natasha. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for the love. I really appreciate that. Lee saying, Raven, I did that in Bali with fabric a few times. Took an empty suitcase and filled it. That's a brilliant idea. Leah saying possum socks are the best. Oh, the socks would be amazing. Amazing. They would be so soft. They'd be like walking on little clouds. Raven celebrating the celebration. By hooks on my needle, Sam, 8 more likes to hit 50. Oh my goodness. I will gift a surprise if we get there. Wow, 8 more likes. Seriously? Oh my goodness. All I'm doing is sitting here talking at you people. I haven't even crocheted a single stitch. So much for Crochet and Chat. Member for 4 months, Magic in the Forest. I didn't know us members had this chat option. Oh, I didn't know you had that chat option either. That's fantastic. Okay. Linny saying, how do you shear a possum? Very delicately. Absolutely. That's if you can get them to sit still. Darren giving some claps and some celebrations. Yay. I'm taking an extra suitcase to Canada this month just for yarn. That is a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea. As Sam's saying, it's hard to crochet and chat. It is. It really is, particularly when you haven't even started. So, as I said, we've got the chat part down beautifully. Haven't even crocheted a single stitch. That's silly. I need to do something about that. All right. So, if we go back to that favorite project again, does anybody have something that they are willing to or hoping to get started within the next couple of months that has been on their whip list for a while? Or is there something that you've been working on over a huge length of time that's finally going to be complete soon? Or I love hearing about these super big projects where people have spent, so many hours or years working on a project like a blanket or something, and then it's finally completed and they finally get it done. I'd love to hear about those sorts of things. I think I'd get, sorry.
Like, did you see what Sam wrote about the members? You can gift 10 members.
I didn't know that.
No.
Oh.
Ask her a bit more about that.
Did you know you can gift memberships, Mel? No, I didn't know that. Natalie, hello. Hi, Natalie. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Sam, I did not know you could do that. I want to design a couple of blankets that have been on my mind for a while now. That would be good. Yeah, I love seeing, you quite often see those sort of posts on Facebook, or sometimes now on the YouTube community tab, now that we have that as an option. That's just something I wanted to bring up as well. For a long time, I set up my Facebook page thinking that everyone would be able to post pictures of their whips and their thrift store finds that they're really proud of and that they're really happy with. And that's something that they were... something that they were really proud of, so that we could all share in that and that be happy on it, and be proud of and be happy to share. But when I set up the page, I didn't realize nobody could actually post on it. So then I set up a Facebook group, and then we worked out that people could post in that. And then about 2 weeks after I set up the group, the YouTube community tab became available and people were able to post on that too. So I'm loving the fact that I'm going to be able to open that up. Everyone, that's open now for everybody. If you'd like to be able to share your whips and your posts of your projects or things that you've been working on, not only, you don't have to join the Facebook group if you're not a fan of Facebook. I can understand that. You can now post them up on the YouTube community tab, which is great because it means we can all take part in being so happy and so proud of the work that you've done. And regardless if you feel like, thank you, Mr. Universe, if you feel like you're too new and what you've done isn't worth it or whatever, never think that. Always share everything that you've done and be proud of it because it's beautiful. Okay, so what's happening in the chat? Everything just went crazy for a second. Natasha, welcome. Oh, are you a new Yarny too? Natasha, you know what that means, everybody. Okay, so Sam saying click on the button, the dollar sign. I think the option is in there. Okay. Right. Okay. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm going to have a look at that later. The super chat, super stickers, all sorts of things. Wow. There are so many things that this thing can do that I didn't know anything about. Thank you, Sam. You're going to have to educate me on how to YouTube because I'm not very good at it. I do my best. Kiri's saying that she's working on completing a mile-a-minute shawl, just waiting on some more yarn and hoping against hope it will match. Oh, isn't that the worst? The yarn I used isn't available anymore. Oh no. Oh, I feel you. Melissa's saying I've not started my Hexi cardi yet. Need to start or at least get more right-handed grannies. Red heart granny square yarn to be sure I have enough. Yep. So speaking of Hexi cardis, I will be doing a Hexi tutorial soon. For anybody that's always wanted to make one, I have a lovely friend over in Ireland. Her name is Mary. Hi, Mary. If you watch this later on, don't worry. I haven't forgotten. I know you want to make a Hexi cardi, and I am hoping to make that tutorial for you within the next couple of weeks. I get a lot of questions because I wear my sort of unofficial uniform of my Hexi cardi. I get a lot of questions about how to make them and do I have a pattern for them. I don't have a pattern. I should probably put one together, but I will be making a tutorial on how to make those. So if you've always wanted to make a Hexi cardi and you're not quite sure how, stay tuned. I'll get that together in the next few weeks. I'm planning on making one for my mum, so I'll probably use that as the project for the tutorial, and I'll take you through it step by step. Essentially, if you can do a double crochet and you can slip stitch, you can make a Hexi cardigan. So if you've always wanted to and never knew how, don't worry, I'll take you through that, and it's much more simple than it sounds. Sandra's saying, I'm drooling over shrug patterns just now. Yeah, shrugs are great. Yarn Doc saying your Facebook is great. It is great. I love the group. I love being able to see everybody's work. The other thing I really love about the Facebook group is that if anyone's struggling with anything, or if they're stuck on a particular project or the pattern doesn't make sense, they can just ask the group. And if I can't answer them, then there's lots of other people there that can. I love the fact that there are so many different people with so many varying levels of experience with crochet. So if I'm not there or if I can't help, surely someone in that group can. So I love seeing everybody's creations. I love how encouraging everybody is. I love that everyone's so supportive. And I really love that we can all be there to help each other and to follow each other's journey. It's a privilege to see that happening. It's just lovely. But again, if you're not on Facebook, we can do that on the YouTube community tab now, which is fantastic. So again, if you've got any questions or concerns about a pattern that you're stuck on, as long as we can see what you're trying to work on, we can try and help you with that, which is great. Darren's saying he wants to make a 6-day star blanket. Yep, I've had that on my whip list. I actually bought yarn to make one and then decided to make something else with it. So So that yarn is now designated to a members only blanket that we're going to start working on soon. I've got a list of stitches to work through and I'm working on those in the background. So once we get ready and that's all organized, I'll be able to start working through those stitches and putting that blanket together. So I'm glad that I saved that yarn and I didn't use it for the 6-day star blanket, but the 6-day star blanket is definitely still on my whip list because I think they look beautiful. And I've seen some amazing examples, not just on Facebook, but also on YouTube. There's some fantastic different blankets, and I really love the design too. That star shape is just beautiful. Sam's saying one more like to hit 50. Ooh, can I like it, Sam? Okay, far back in the chat now. All right, Secret Yarnery has a shawl called Aurora Dawn. Mile a minutes can be used in any way you like. That's fantastic. Coco saying she's designing a custom cardigan. Ooh, that sounds fantastic. Sam saying she's new to YouTube too. Oh, you can't teach me then. Natalie saying I just bought heaps of yarn at Spotlight's 50% off sale. Yeah, a lot of people have done that, and you know what? You're saying oops. No, don't say oops. That was the right thing to do. 50% off. That's a perfect time to buy them. Sam sent 5 Mel's Yarniverse gift memberships. Thank you so much, Sam. That's so lovely of you. You know what that means? Yay! Hopefully that's not too annoying for everybody. And I will say Mr. Yarniverse created that celebration screen, so I've got to use it, don't I? Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much, Sam. That was for hitting 50 likes. Oh, wow. Thank you, everybody. That's just lovely. Oh, you're all so beautiful. Thank you so much. Darren having a bit of a celebration there. Liz crocheted more. Hi Mel, new to your channel. Hi Liz, thanks for being here.
Sorry, can I bother for 2 seconds?
Yep.
With the word celebration
yep.
in the sources.
Yep.
Pull the audio down just a little bit on it.
Okay.
You see there's a yellow line that shows the audio on it?
I can't see that at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right, work it out later.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. A bit of technical advice. Kiri, I got okay, the 50% off is hard to resist. Yeah, it absolutely is. Welcome everybody. Welcome all the new people that have found the channel today. Thank you so much for being here and for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you're new and you need a bit of background, essentially I'm just chronicling and journaling my crochet journey. I am not a 50-year experienced crocheter that can teach you everything they know. What I'm doing is sharing my journey as I go. So if I find some helpful information, I share it with you. I'll trial and review different yarns, different hooks, and make videos about that so I can let you know whether or not something is worth investing your money in. I'll review kits and different hooks. I've got a knitting kit that I'd like to review actually because I'm not a fantastic knitter, so advice from someone who can't knit is probably really helpful, yeah? Basically, it's aimed at beginner knitters, and I can read a knitting pattern and I can do a knit and a purl stitch, and I taught myself how to decrease a couple of months ago, but if I have to do that again, I'll have to look that up again. But yeah, so that's essentially what I do. Oh, and I enjoy digging around in thrift stores and sharing crochet and yarn related finds that I find there. I go looking for patterns and toys and amigurumi, and I go looking for hooks and buttons, particularly buttons because they're like gold nuggets at the moment. All sorts of yarn related things, and I like to share that with all of you. So I bring you all along with me and I take you out for the day and we have a bit of fun digging around in thrift stores and seeing what we can find. Okay, so Kathy's saying that she bought some yarn. Let me just... Sorry, the chat's moving again. Bought yarn at Spotlight yesterday to make a second Hexi cardigan. Currently winding yarn to make second suburban wrap shawl. Okay. It's taken a while. Yep, I understand that. Emma's making an interlocking blanket for her dad. Oh, and he's got dementia and is living in a nursing home. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Emma. I'm sure he's going to absolutely love your blanket. That's going to be beautiful. And good on you for making that. That's lovely. Moonbeam, have you tried Paddy and Bango's Place yarn? No, I haven't. If anybody's got any yarn recommendations, or if you have any particular brands that you'd like me to review or you'd like to hear my thoughts on, by all means pop them in the chat. I'm always happy to get recommendations on things I should try. Again, the more I can experience and can show you, the more you guys get to learn about different brands and you get that experience. Again, it's like a virtual yarn library. So I can share with you what I think of different yarns, how they work up. I'll always work something up on screen so you can see how the yarn's handling, what it looks like, if the stitch definition's any good, if I'm having troubles with knots or tangles or the dyes aren't consistent, all those sorts of things. I'll put that on camera so you get to see all of that and you can see whether or not something's worth the money. You'll get to see how the thing works up and see what it looks like. So if you've got any recommendations for me, by all means let me know, and I'll try and do my best to review what I can and share that with you. Leah saying highly recommend Fiddlesticks acrylics. Okay, so a bit expensive but so nice and soft and a dream to work with. So I've got some Fiddlesticks sitting over there. I've got some acrylic, and the other thing I was really looking into is their cotton. They've got a couple of different brands now. They've got Finch and Wren and a few different sizes of cotton. I'm really intrigued by their cotton. And their acrylic does feel really soft, but I haven't worked with it yet. So I need to be able to take some time to maybe do some more reviews, maybe do some more smaller projects so I can try things rather than going, I'm going to make a blanket, or I'm going to make a cardigan, or I'm going to make something big, or a big like shawl or something. Maybe try something smaller so I can make that up on camera and get a chance to review it. So maybe I need to think a little smaller for those sorts of things and save that yarn and save those bigger projects for days when I have the time to do those sorts of things, I guess. For hair scrunchies, the absolute best yarn is Lynn brand 24/7 cotton. I have heard that that's quite good. No fuzzing. That's great. Thanks, Jenny. That's a great recommendation. Emma's saying that she fell in love with brioche crochet cardigan pattern of Lila Bjorn. I'm obsessed and almost finished. Ooh, I'll have to look that up too. That sounds intriguing. Melissa saying she's a sucker for the Spotlight mill-end bags. Yep, I hear that too. The amount of things that I've found in mill-end bags is pretty impressive. Sometimes it's frustrating when you can't find a label or you can't do anything to identify what the yarn is and you need more of it. That can be frustrating, but I really love things like Ravelry for that. Particularly using Google image search, so being able to take a picture of your yarn and then doing a Google image search to be able to find that yarn and track it down and hopefully be able to put a name to that yarn. That helps a lot, and a lot of the times being able to access Ravelry's database on those yarns to see what other people have used to make with that yarn. I'm finally on Ravelry by just to remind you, I'm not good at Ravelry. So if you've messaged me or if you've tried to contact me on Ravelry, I am not ignoring you. I am so sorry. I'm still trying to work out how it all works. So for me, Ravelry used to be a database that I could access when I had a certain amount of yarn and was looking for a good project to work on. That was pretty much all until I've decided to put my patterns and stuff up on Ravelry, and then I worked out that it's a lot more than just a little database. You can actually get so much information from it. You can favorite other people's projects and designs. When people use your pattern for a project, they can take pictures. Like, it's such a supportive community there. I think for me, though, it's just going to take a bit of time to work out actually how it works. And once I get more of a handle on it, I think it'll be fine. But the Ravelry setup itself is actually fantastic. So there's probably a lot of you saying, oh, this Ravelry is fantastic. Have you done this? Have you done that? Not really. I'm trying to learn more and get my head around how it works. And I think it's just a matter of being able to spend more time using it and finding out what other information's on there, because it's a really helpful resource. Raven saying, I would like to know which hook people use when working with carrot cakes. Just the regular one. I find it drags on so much. So just standard carrot cakes. Normally I stick with a 5mm. And for me, it was probably a clover or more, knowing me. Fiddlesticks Wren is amazing. Okay, so I keep picking it up at my local yarn store. So Darn Special is wonderful. They get all these yarns in. Some of it's from the UK, some of it's from like everywhere, and they've got a wall of buttons that I just love. And I keep going over to their Fiddlesticks cotton. Then they've got Wren, and I think Finch was the other one. And I keep picking them up and going, oh, it's so expensive for such a small little ball. Is it worth it? Oh, it feels really soft. I don't really know. Oh, and I keep doing that thing where every time you're in the store, you go over and you look at it and you go, oh, no. And then you put it back. And then the next time you're in there, you find an excuse to walk over there and have another look at it. And then you go, oh, it looks so good. Oh, no. And then you put it back and you I keep doing that. So I think maybe I just need to just do it and give it a try. I've heard great things about Fiddlesticks, and particularly their cotton. I know their acrylics are apparently brilliant. Have you tried the 12-ply Marvel acrylic? It's one of those in my price range, but I haven't seen it in real life. Yes! So, most of my acrylic that I work with will be Marvel for a huge reason. One, it's very, very cost-effective yarn. And two, it's lovely for making amigurumi, which sounds weird because most people make amigurumi with plush yarn. Plush yarn is not my favourite yarn to work with. I much prefer acrylic and wool. But when I'm making amigurumi that are particularly expressive, I prefer to work with acrylic than plush. I feel like plush yarn is lovely and soft and cuddly if you're going for a simple design. But if you need something with a really expressive face and you want to be able to manipulate the arms and legs or things like that, acrylic is my favourite to work with for amigurumi, and in particular the Marvel. Both the 10 and 12 ply. Both beautiful. 8 ply as well. What else have we got down here? All in the back. More Marvel. That's 8 ply. That's 8 ply. There's some 10 ply in the back. So I make granny squares with it. I make blankets with it. I make amigurumi with it. I've made bags with it. Marvel's great, and just because it's easily accessible and it's never expensive, and so when it's on sale and people rush into Spotlight and fill a bag full of it, it's a great yarn to work with. It's really lovely. Darren uses boy hooks. Boy are brilliant. Boy and Arrow are like the grandparents of crochet, I want to say. They've been around since I was a little kid. I remember my grandmother and my mum both using Arrow hooks. Now, Arrow is from the UK and Boy is, I think, from the States, I'm pretty sure, but I think they're very similar. So just basic standard aluminium hooks. So most of those are Arrows, and these are both my mother's and my grandmother's that I inherited, so I hang on to these. There's actually a clover in there too, believe it or not, so I'm pretty sure my grandmother worked with a clover, so very proud of that. Happy to carry on the tradition. Yeah, but Boy and Arrow hooks are fantastic. Put that over there. Natalie's a bit frustrated at the moment because she's currently in a bad chronic fatigue flare-up. Oh, I'm so sorry, Natalie. That's sad. I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better soon. I get my whip out and do a few lines and have to give it up. Oh, I'm sorry. I get that way with my migraines too. I'll get a couple of rows in and then go, nope, I have to stop now. Put it aside. Pick it up again another day. So I understand that. Mr. Yarniverse. That would be fantastic. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to take a very quick break. I won't be very long. I'll be back in just a second. So if you want to go to the toilet, top up your cuppa, all those sorts of things, I'll be back very shortly. See you soon, guys. sorry. That's a bit better, isn't it? Sorry. Rach is saying that she's been working on a triangular shawl but haven't been working on making it more elongated by putting less stitches in the apex. That's brilliant. What a great idea. Using my Bushi yarn. Bushi yarn. What's that? Sounds good. Pam. Hi, Pam. Night, everyone. Have a blessed night. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I know it's getting late for a lot of you, so I'll try to wind this up if I can. Good night. So Done Special ladies are just so lovely. Yeah, they are, Sandra. They're really, really nice. I've never had a bad experience in there. They've always been absolutely delightful. Kiri saying she uses Marvel 8-ply for amigurumi. Yeah, it works up really well, doesn't it? It's really lovely. Melissa saying that she got the Pokemon crochet book to make herself and learn to read crochet patterns. Melissa, I put out a video not too long ago about how to read graphs. So if there's any graphs or charts in your book, that video might be helpful for you in that regard. I was thinking about making a video on how to read crochet patterns. There are a lot of different styles and people write them in different ways. So I suppose I could use one of my own patterns as an example of how to read them and how to break them down. So if that's something that you would find helpful, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. I remember it took quite a while for me to learn how to read crochet patterns because everybody did it differently, and I think that's why a lot of people like graphs and charts instead of written patterns, because not everybody writes their patterns the same way and they don't all use the same grammar. So some things mean different things to some people, whereas a graph or a chart is universal and it's always the same regardless of which country it comes from, regardless of where, how it was written, who wrote it. A chart will always mean the same thing. So if that's going to be helpful for you, if you'd like a video on how to read a written crochet pattern, let me know and I'll put that together for you too. Yarn Doc, are there any inline folks out there? I'm a Susan Bates girl. Okay. So I have a Knit Pro inline hook that I seem to be able to work with just fine, but all of my other hooks are tapered, so I don't know what's up with that. I do have some Susan Bates hooks that were a gift from a friend in the States that I do need to dig out and try. As most people know, Susan Bates hooks are inline and not tapered, whereas a Clover Amour in particular is a tapered hook. So for me, I tend to stick with tapered hooks. For me and my technique, when I use inline hooks, they get stuck. So my stitches will stick. Thank you so much, Mr. Yarniverse. That's another chai refill. Thank you. Inline hooks for me will stick and they'll catch in the yarn and they'll catch in the stitches, and I find it very frustrating. I love that the inline hooks have that pointed top to them for getting into stitches, but because the slant on the hook itself is so more defined, I find that catches more. And whereas a tapered hook has the rounder head and it's just sort of easier for me to manipulate. Whereas a lot of other people I know prefer inline hooks because they find they don't catch. They work much better for getting in and out of stitches, and they find them much easier to use because a tapered hook doesn't have as much definition, so they have to work harder to make their stitches. So it's really interesting how, like, the difference between a tapered and an inline hook, and the different reasons people use the different styles. I find that really interesting. Okay, so so many new people in the chat. Hello, everybody. Gwendol, the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe's here. Well, I didn't know you would be here. Welcome. Gwendol is crocheting a giant mushroom. Oh, do you mean the little mushroom guys or an actual mushroom? Because that would be impressive. Ghost of Edgar Allan Poe is saying it's only early in Brisbane. Yeah, it is early. You guys need to get up. Get up and crochet. Darren's working on a pink baby girl blanket. That's right. That's a gift for somebody, isn't it? That's so lovely of you. Good on you, Darren. Miranda, wow, it's wild seeing someone in broad daylight and all cozy. It's 1 a.m. in Ohio and hot, hot, hot. Wow, thank you for being here, Miranda. I can't imagine it being that hot at 1 a.m. Although I'm saying that, and we're in Australia, and it can get super hot here. I can't imagine it now because I'm sitting here freezing a little bit in the middle of winter, particularly in Ballarat, which is quite a cold area. Having said that, though, our summers are really hot here too, so there's no real payoff here. It's not like we get a cold winter but then we get a good summer. No, our winters are cold and our summers are hot, and there's nothing in between. So autumn's nice here. Autumn and spring are quite nice here, but once it gets to summer and winter, ooh, it's from one extreme to the other. Boozy yarn is expensive, special yarn. Oh, so like my fancy yarns, my fancies. I call them my fancies. Bougie, yep, bougie yarns. Okay, I get it now. Yep, okay. Darren saying AC here in NW in 2. Wow, so you guys have got the AC on and I'm sitting here freezing. Mel isn't doing a tutorial right now. That's right. Yeah, it's not a tutorial. I just wanted to, funnily enough, sit down and crochet with my friends, and I've done a magic ring and a chain 3. That's as far as I've gotten. I've focused more on the chat today than the crochet. I do tutorials here on the channel. It's just that this particular video or this particular live stream isn't a tutorial. It's just a catch up and a chat over some crochet. So technically I did crochet today. No one can say I didn't. I did a thing. I just didn't do very much of it. So now I'm behind. I'll have to catch up. Moonbeam saying they're an inline girl and a pencil holder. Okay, so you are the exact opposite of me. I'm a tapered girl and a knife holder. So that's interesting. I love that. I love that. Lisa saying, Mel, what do you think if used to make a blanket with heart granny squares yarn instead of individual squares? Wonder how that's going to come out. Yeah, that would be interesting. So you're saying grabbing an all-in-one granny square yarn, which it has sections of different color, and instead of making the individual granny squares, you're making one big granny square blanket with that yarn. I have seen one of our subscribers has actually made a blanket using the all-in-one granny square yarn. I can't remember off the top of my head what stitch she used, but she held up the blanket and took a photo, and it looked like a abstract painting, almost like ripples or like a wave across it. It looked really, really pretty. I can't remember which colorway she used, but it was absolutely stunning, and it looked like it was an intentional color work design, but it wasn't. It was just the randomness of the different colors changing and the amount of stitches that she was using that just happened to work, and it looked beautiful. It almost looked like a reflection of an image. So it looked like a reflection on the water. It was just beautiful. It was really lovely. I'll have to try and find it and see if I can repost that on Facebook or something. It was lovely. It actually worked up really well. So yeah, it worked up beautifully, and it does actually work up quite nicely. And there are a lot of people that are making tutorials now for that all-in-one granny square yarn, where they make different styles of granny square and different types of granny squares, and they work up beautifully. Yeah, so I really have a little bit of PTSD from using that, so I'm probably not going to invest a lot of my time to try and make it work. I feel like you could do that. You could sit down with a couple of different sized hooks and a good skein of the all-in-one granny yarn and actually play with it and tinker it so that you could come up with a couple of different granny squares, or just a design that works with those random color changes. You could also, if you really wanted to, take the time to section it out into, like, so color blocking, section it out into its different colors and then choose when the colors change. You could do that as well. There's a lot you can do with that yarn, and the quality of it is quite nice. It is a quite like a worsted weight or a 10 ply for us Aussies. It's quite a nice thick yarn, and it does make up really nice cardigans, blankets, all those sorts of things. They are, sometimes I hear that people aren't impressed with the level of softness from Red Heart, and they like to wash it with some extra conditioner and things like that just to soften it up a bit. So that I would recommend that as well, that if you were planning on making a wearable using that all-in-one granny square yarn, that you make sure that you give it a good soak and use some conditioner before you wear it, because it can be a little bit scratchy. But apart from that, it is quite a good quality yarn. So we've got people from Mexico. Hello, thank you so much for joining. That's lovely. This is my very first time in a live with you. Thank you so much for being here. That's just wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So Solana is saying, now I'm curious, how cold does Australia get in winter? It snows. It snows here. It can get quite cold. It can get down to, depending on the area you're in. You've got to remember, Australia is a very big country. We are a very wide and very large country in terms of space, and in terms of there's quite a few smaller countries that would fit inside of Australia, and we would still have space. But the majority of people and the majority of the population of Australia are located around the outside of the country, because the more inland you go, the hotter it gets. And the majority of the middle of Australia is a huge desert, basically. There's just dirt and rock and heat, and it's not very life-sustaining. You can live out there, life does exist out there, but it's very, very hard and very, very hot. So the majority of people live around the coastal areas of Australia, and down in Tassie as well. And because the bottom end of Australia is so close to Antarctica, we actually get very, very cold winters. And because the top of Australia is close to the equator, we get very, very hot summers. So at the top of the country is quite hot, and the bottom of the country is really quite cold. So, and of course, I live at the bottom of the country, not the most southern point of the country though. So those in Tassie are much colder than I am here. But yeah, it does get very, very cold here, but it also can get very, very hot as well. So we are very much a country of extremes. So if you do plan on visiting Australia, if you like the cold, come in winter. If you like the heat, come in summer. If you don't like either, come during spring and autumn, because even in spring and autumn, you will experience quite a few different weather changes. Particularly in the southern states, we tend to get, you've probably heard of 4 seasons in one day. That happens a lot down here in Victoria. You basically layer your clothing because you go from hot to cold within hours. So you'll take off your raincoat to put on a nice cardigan, and then you'll take that off because you're too hot, and then 10 seconds later you're putting something back on. So yeah, it can be pretty extreme here. Yeah, but we love it. We love it. There's so much space and so much to do in this country. There are so many beautiful native birds and animals, and it's just lovely. So
2 hours.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys. Well, I think what we might do is start to finish up now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, to all the new people that joined, that found the channel today. Thank you so much to everybody that's a member, or everybody that's joined in because they followed the channel for a while. Thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate it. I'm still going to chalk this one up as a crochet and chat because I did technically do a thing. There is yarn on my crochet hook, so that counts as crocheting for today. I did a magic ring and a chain 3, so there you go. Thank you all again for the recommendations, for the different yarn recommendations, for the different patterns and the different designs. Thank you all so much for all of the likes and all of the love, for Sam gifting memberships. Thank you so much, Sam. I do have to tinker around a lot more with the YouTube settings and work out what things I can do and what things I have, what different abilities I have here. There's so many things, there's so many buttons here, you wouldn't believe it. So trying to work all that out, I do need to work that out. So thank you so much for joining me. As I said, I did chat more than I crocheted, but I'm still counting it. I think it still works. From everybody overseas joining me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you're all healthy, safe and well. And I will catch up with you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for everything.